So my name is Eduard Lukschandl, and I was born and raised in Vienna. Half of my life is spent in Sweden, where I worked as a systems analyst and did some research in the field of artificial intelligence. I have no formal education in economics, which enables me to see economic issues beyond the horizon that constrains the professionals. Economists whom I presented my idea found it queer and exotic. I'm sure you will be more open-minded. So fasten your seatbelts. The highlights, I start with the highlights. The system covers the 19 countries of the Eurozone. Existing tax systems remain untouched. Existing social expenditures of the states remain untouched. Existing pension systems remain untouched, and healthcare systems too. And you will ask, how is this possible? And the rest of my speech, I will show how this can be made possible. Everyone agrees on the three primary functions of money as a medium of exchange, a unit of account, and a store of value. However, two of these functions can be in conflict because storing money for saving reduces the amount available for exchange. And the logical solution to this issue is to use two currencies in parallel, one for consumption and one for saving purposes. And the other observation, that central banks all over the world are considering the implementation of central bank digital currency. It will, as a twin account, coexist with the holding accounts of today and be called the D-Euro. So, yeah, that's okay. The next one. So the implementation. Central banks, for example, the European Central Bank, introduced twin accounts parallel to the existing normal accounts of all physical persons and legal entities. Let's call them CB accounts for central bank and the normal accounts as accounts. And once a month, 1,500 euros will be added to the CB accounts of the citizens. This is the UBI. In parentheses, I write 300 because when you start with 1,500, the consequences will not be foreseeable. So we have to start with a low and can step by step pay more than 300. In order to make it possible to save the money, the balances, to make it impossible to save the money, the balances of all the CB accounts are reduced by 0.4% every midnight. And the system is driven by a software I want to call Pluvia, which is Latin for rain. And the rain that we see on the next slide, in nature, there exists a system that illustrates this proposal very well, the water cycle. It functions like a perpetual motion machine powered by the energy of the sun. Globally, there's a constant flow of precipitation on one end and evaporation on the other. Turbines convert this energy into electricity, which keeps the world running. In the same way, the light green arrows shows us the same system. Every month, the UBI rain comes from the ECB, and it rains on the citizens only. And every day, every midnight, the UBI rain is applied on all the UBI accounts, And if you take a look at the dark green arrows, it is system as it is today. So the euro, like the CB euro cycle, will be superimposed on the existing. Next, please. So how to do payments? You have a payer A and a receiver B. To the left are the holdings before the payment. To the right, the holdings after the payment. And suppose A wants to pay 60 euros to B. And Pluvia proceeds as following. It takes a look on the accounts and see how much money is on the S account or on the CB account, and the proportion of these numbers is applied to the 60 pounds in this 60 euros in this case. It will be 40 euros from the normal account and 20 from the normal and 40 for the other account. Yes? And the magic behind this is mathematics. If you take a look at that, it shows you on the x-axis the time. Every point, the unit is a month. And you see in the beginning of every month, the amount of money is going up vertically. And during the next month, the UBI drain will diminish the amount of existing money. And as you can see, after 2 years, the amount of money will not increase anymore, because in order to be able to pay this 300 euros to every citizen, it had collected the month before the same amount. Yes, please. Just to give you some numbers. In Austria, for example, M0 is the amount of cash. Economists use the M0, M1, M2, M3, which are not interesting here. And as you can see, the amount of the CB euros, the UBI, will be about the same amount as the cash today. So just to give you some numbers. By comparison, during the Corona crisis, the government spent 38 billion on direct financial aid to businesses, employees, and so on. So it's about the same order as the UBI, the CB euros. Next one, please. Who gets how much? Depending on their gross domestic product per capita of each country in the Eurozone, its inhabitants will get more or less than the 300 CB euros every month. And the bandwidth is between 127,500 for Luxembourg and 22,000 on the other end, which is the GPT or Greece. And depending on the age, physical persons will get up to the maximum amount of each country. Next, please. The conclusion. I've demonstrated that the concept of having two official currencies in parallel is feasible, as central banks worldwide have been considering this idea for the past 10 years. I've shown that there might be created fresh money every month without the major impact on inflation. The ECB created 1,850 billion euros to counter the effects of the Corona crisis. It is equivalent to 5,400 euro per capita. So let it rain, Madame Lagarde, let it rain, but this time on people.